All right, guys. Welcome back to HareBrained Whiskey. So today we decided to change it up a little bit. We're going to try something different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to do some rye today. Now, rye is one of those things that a lot of people either really like,
You like
really
it
don't
or you
like.
hate it.
Yeah,
There's no real in between.
yeah. Or you only like it in a cocktail. A lot of people are like, I like an old fashioned. I like them,
Right, exactly. Like one of those cocktails that are standard with a rye in it. They're like, I could drink it in that, but not straight.
Yeah,
It's like,
So now we've had high rye whiskey on here before, and it was really good. But today we're going to go ahead, and I know you guys can read the label, but it's Michter's single barrel straight rye. It is 42.5%, I believe. No, 42.4%. Yeah, I'm not making that up.
That's how they cut it.
I don't know why.
It's just how they want to play.
So Michter's rye is, for me, it's a good middle of the road price wise. So it's about $40 or so.
Yeah, 40, 45.
Yeah, 40 to 50.
Yeah.
It's available in a lot of areas, but there are some areas where it's harder to find.
Right.
So,
it's pretty readily available, but yeah, it's in some areas difficult.
And it's just a good rye. So it's just a good straight rye. So We're going to go ahead and get a couple glasses up here, and we're going to have some fun.
Well, how can you not have fun when you're drinking whiskey?
Whiskey and rye, right? I heard that song.
Right?
You got the wrong glass. You almost got my glass. Pay no attention to the man shuffling with glasses.
Starting shuffling your ass.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, so one of the things with rye is there's a lot of ryes have that classic anise note or black licorice.
Dill.
Or dill. I'm just saying, like, classic kind of notes.
Yeah,
is that black licorice or dill or something like that.
Right. This definitely is a classic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get dill. I get the anise.
I was gonna say I get a little bit more of the anise.
The anise is more prevalent.
On the nose. On the nose is more of an anise.
Yeah,
which for those of you who don't know, star anise, it's got kind of a black licorice kind of vibe going on.
Very similar to black licorice taste. But then there's still an undercurrent.
There's vanilla on that nose.
Yeah, there is some vanilla, a little bit of dill, but it's a background dill, definitely buried down in there. I'd almost say there's a little bit of brown sugar.
Yeah, I give you brown sugar, molasses, something like that.
Right. Some dark sugars of some kind.
Right. Mm.
Yeah, and rye's always, and sometimes there's a lot of it because they use it off of bourbon like builds.
Right, and it's
all fresh oak, so you get like the oak notes really heavily.
Yeah, and a lot of your bourbons have at least a certain percentage of rye. Like a lot of bourbons will have 10 to 20% rye in them, sometimes up to 40%.
Right, depending on what you're going for.
So, but yeah, that's okay. Now I'm getting the dill a little bit more.
Yeah. What's funny is every time if somebody's just trying rye for the first time, they've never had anything else, or they've had rye before, but they never really thought about it, and you tell them,
you'll smell pickles.
You'll smell pickles as soon as they smell it. Like,
I smell pickles.
I've never smelled that in a whiskey before, but son of a bitch.
And now I can't unsmell it.
It just smells like pickles now. Damn it. I like pickles.
This one, see, that's the interesting thing about this one is that every time I go back to smell I get a little bit different. There's a little bit different note or different layer in there. It's definitely not a one-note wonder.
No.
And there is a little barrel spice.
Yeah, because I get like a little hint of cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon and a little oak.
Right.
Yeah. Cinnamon.
Oh. Yeah.
Dill. Yeah, cinnamon and dill. That's a really weird combination, but it works.
The dill really fades that out for me on the taste, but it's the cinnamon, vanilla, the oak bite.
Right, and
you can really get the wood note.
Yeah, you like the wood note.
You get that wood stuck right in your throat.
He loves the wood note.
Not really. It's not my favorite. You're the one that likes the wood note. You and your Woodford. But man, that's a damn good whiskey.
And the nose changes a little bit when you go back. So like for me, So it's not it's
Cherry.
it's got a nice medium body to it. It's not like overly thin or
Right. No, it's right in
syrupy
the
or
right in
stout
the
or
middle.
what have you.
Right.
But for me that dill, I catch that hint of dill right up front. But it's not like a dill pickle. For me, it's more like when you have like actual dill, like a container
like
of dill.
dillweed.
Yeah, well, like you.
Yeah, you're dillweed. I
Your
got
dill
dill.
hole.
I got dill growing on my countertop, so it's like you know,
See?
you can smell it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
But, yeah,
But it's very very faint, very light. But
right,
but the
not
taste.
pickle so much as the actual plant.
But the taste
agree with
actually for me, it I get the dill up front along with that cinnamon, that sugar.
Right.
But and then it kind of goes under. And then it kind of comes back on the finish. Like I kind of get
Right.
the dill comes
Right,
back
like
a little bit on the finish.
Circles
But-
around on you.
Right, yeah, it comes around again, but not aggressively.
In case you missed me, I'm here.
But nothing, not aggressively, not like
No.
not
No, it's like
not like some where it's just like dill for days.
Right. Like,
Like-
Bullet.
Yeah,
Bullet
Good-
95, right? It's a damn good whiskey, but oh man, is that pickle. At least for myself.
That's good. So if
you
you're
can't
not
go wrong with that.
sure about ryes, if you want to get into ryes, I'd say this is probably a really good place to start. Now it's not the affordable ryes, so
Right.
if you're really not sure and money is an issue because it can be in
Right,
a lot of ways.
absolutely. Especially-
If you have a friend that likes to drink ryes, see if they've got it. It's definitely a good way to go.
Right. Never hurts to mooch a little off for somebody that likes to buy it.
Right, or or if you have a party going on, you're going to make some cocktails, then
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. If you're going for cocktails, you just don't necessarily need to spend this kind of money for
$50 on
for a cocktail whiskey. You could get like what is that?
Well, Bullet is
Bullet's-
about $25.
Yeah, Bullet. It's 25, 30. But then you also got like Old Lord Overholt or
Oh,
whatever
Old
the-
Overholt Rye. Yeah,
you know,
that's a
and
classic.
but it's like sub 20. It's below $20 around here.
And keep in mind, just like any whiskey, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to break this out is, just like any whiskey is, just every brand, every style in that category is still going to have different notes, different flavors, different
Right. Because
things to enjoy.
there's so many different ways to
Or
distill
different-
it and get different notes out of it and
Yeah,
aging and
where
everything.
they stop the heads and start and end the tails
Right.
or what have you, and
Right, it varies.
where that heart cut is,
creates a lot of variation
the
in
proofing.
whiskeys. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I bet you this has a bit stronger dill note. If it was a higher proof, it was like say 46.
Maybe.
I bet that dill would come out a little bit more. Like for me, it's more like a really good balance of the dill and the anise. Like it's a
Right.
really good balance of the two very traditional notes.
Right. No, absolutely. It's not like any one of them are like just
Because
kicking you in the
for me, a
nuts,
lot of
you know?
ryes, you get one or the other. A lot of times, you don't get. They're usually very
One of them
very
usually
licorice
very
heavy.
right.
Or
One's usually
very
really
dill.
overpowering, and the other one's background somewhere in there. But there's no balance between the two flavors generally. It's
Yeah.
usually like one's overpowering the other one by a little bit.
And that's one of the things I'm going to
Wow.
say about Michter's today is that they've done it right as far as finding a really good balance point for some actually
'cause
very
you
some
get all these sweet notes, vanilla notes, cinnamon notes, and then
for,
you get
and for two flavors that can be very overpowering. Like
Right.
a little goes a long way.
right, and they're like they're all pretty well balanced through there with the other notes you're getting.
I'm gonna give you a little more splash there. We're gonna add just a little water. You shouldn't need to, and
Yeah.
I don't know that too many people add water to rye. I know
never
I
hurts
generally
to
don't, but we're gonna
give it a
explore
shot
it
and see.
because that's what we do here.
Sometimes we remember.
I always have the water. I just don't always have the mentality to remember it.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah,
So what we're doing is this is about a half ounce of whiskey, and I'm adding about 4 to 5 drops of water. You don't have to be that exact. It's just I found that it works really well for me. Gets it that little bit without watering it down overly, because you can
Right.
always
opens up the
you
oils
can
and
always
everything.
add a little bit more water. It's kind of hard to take it back out.
Right. Man, yeah, that really does.
Oh,
shift it.
cinnamon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That
it,
knows
like,
what's
buried any other rye note to where
well.
it's more
That's
like cinnamon.
Well, it's that
and-
rye spice that you hear
Sure.
about. That rye spice, but yeah, it's cinnamon and.
But see,
oak.
to me, it's cinnamon and the oak and all that. That's a lot of like your
Barrel,
vanillas.
that's barrel.
all barrel.
Yeah.
So to me, this is what I'm getting out of this. Mostly the barrel,
Yeah, that.
which
yeah,
is
it
still
can-
great. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
it smells
it's
delicious.
Really
You
good.
know.
It's really good. Mm. I bet it made it a little bit more aggressive in some ways.
The alcohol spikes a little bit, but the other components are all smoothed out a little bit.
Yeah, it really rounded it off.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of flattened it, actually.
Yeah, yeah. No,
so yeah,
it's not bad stuff.
So,
I mean, it's still great.
Yeah, so like
you just get a hard punch of alcohol like right at the front, and then all of a sudden it just fades out.
Which
and it
you
goes,
get with a lot of whiskey, regardless.
Well, right. And then it just goes to like the cinnamon vanilla, and then just goes flat.
Then flats. So I guess the one thing we always talk about, or we always try to talk about, and a lot of guys will talk about, is so if you're new to whiskey and you're not ready for the full proof. Now we like to drink it neat because that's where you're going to get the most enjoyment of the flavors, the most complexity of the flavors.
Right. Especially if you've been drinking whiskey for a while or drinking heavier alcohols. Right. You get used to the alcohol. The alcohol disappears, so now you're able to get these other notes.
Or at least
most of the time, if you're not drinking, neat, the alcohol is going to bury everything. So this is like it takes some practice. Once you get used to doing, tastings and you get used to the alcohol and it starts to fade away for you, you're able to start getting all these nuances.
And a good way to do that is by pour a little half ounce or get a shot. Put a few drops of water. A really good rule of thumb is if you've got it, which these are really easy to find, is just a nice water bottle. Take the cap off, fill it up about halfway, and pour that in about an ounce of whiskey, and that works really good.
Right. And if you need more, go more. But it never hurts to add more until it gets comfortable for you.
And if you are experienced, great. There's nothing wrong with that. Add a little water to it just to explore it more. Really
see what different nuances are in there.
Nerd out on your whiskey. There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not.
Believe it or
just
not,
go full nerd.
Believe it or not, whiskey nerds are appreciated in bars. I've learned
True.
this.
As long as you're not pushy.
Well, no, not the whiskey asshole, not the douchebag, Remember, we have the no snobbery rule around here.
Yeah.
When we adhere to the no snobbery rule, not the no dick rule, but the no snobbery rule.
That's true.
So if you know a lot, if you're experienced, go out to a bar, and if you're hanging out with someone and you see them and they're like, "Oh, I'm thinking about ordering whiskey," just be really cool and be like, "Hey, have you ever tried this one?" And maybe they'll be like, "Oh, I haven't." Hey, and you want to really make friends. Go.
I got you.
Hey, barkeep, give me 2 pours of that.
Yep.
And then you guys enjoy it together. Now, if they don't want to, that's cool. But you want to make friends, and
never hurts to hurts to buy a new friend a whiskey.
Whiskey is a social drink. It is
absolutely.
Whiskey is a contact sport.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Sometimes it can become very contact, but
there's going to be a disclaimer at the bottom here somewhere. We do not advocate alcohol and violence at the same time.
Or period. We advocate alcohol, but not violence.
The key is that whiskey is all about community. Yeah, like.
Oh yeah, no. It used to take. It takes a farm and a whole community to make it.
But beyond that is just the enjoyment, like the culture. There's.
Oh yeah.
If you like whiskey, there's nothing better than finding a buddy, or your brother, or whoever, and just hanging out and drinking a whiskey.
Right.
Regardless of the kind.
Right.
I've got 1 or 2 to choose from.
Right.
And every once in a while we do this, like every week.
Pretty much.
So we're going to do something a little even more different today. You and I discussed this earlier, and this is something we haven't done on the show at all before. Now, we're not going to make a traditional cocktail, but we're going to make something that you could easily get at a bar. Because a lot of times you're going to have either Michter's, Bullet, or
some kind of rye whiskey.
Or some sort of rye at a bar. So if you want to give it a shot, but you don't want to go neat, because let's say you're new, or you just want something simple to drink on. I know I'm that way a lot of times. I'll pour cocktail just to relax.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to pour a little bit of this rye in these glasses. Now you guys notice that these are rocks glasses, tumblers, whatever you want to call them. They're nothing spectacular. And some people are like, well, that's not a Glencairn. Dude, you don't have to drink out of Glencairn.
Well,
Glencairns are really great for nosing, tasting, appreciating.
It's not necessary for cocktails.
But if you just want to drink some damn whiskey, then drink some damn whiskey.
Yeah. Whatever you want to drink it out of.
If you got a rocks glass,
the bottle, whatever.
If you got a rocks glass, use a rocks glass. So obviously we're using a little bit of Coke in here. Just really classic. So a good standard in a lot of places, and I know that doesn't look like much, believe it or not, that's about 1.5 ounces.
Roughly.
So what I like to do is I like to start out, go about 50-50, about 1-to-1.
Right. Because
once again, it goes back to that whole philosophy of you can
Always
put it in
add more.
easier than you can take it out.
Right.
The funny thing about liquids is they tend to blend when you put them together. It's weird. It's like physics or something.
Yeah. And it's really hard to take out that after that.
So, cheers.
Thank you, sir.
Mmm.
Say, I just smelled that one.
I didn't even. I did it. See, this is why I have a co-host.
Yeah, it's like
Keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Highlights the vanilla out of it.
Oh, it really does. It kind of smells like a vanilla Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this is about 1-to-1, and it's a 42%. So it's basically an 80 proof whiskey. So it's not an overpowering whiskey. Mmm. That's just. It brings
It's really good.
Yeah,
I'm
it
trying
really
to
good.
dig through all the flavors. There's a lot going on in here right now.
Like the Coke actually enhanced the vanilla.
Right. And a little bit of cherry, which obviously that's just playing from the Coke and the
Right.
whiskey.
Well,
They always.
So in this case,
But
something I didn't expect is the Coke in this, amount for me enhanced the whiskey a little bit.
right, it brought out that vanilla note really, very
Right.
strongly.
And that's something to keep in mind when you're making a cocktail or making hey, if you want to make a cocktail and you're just bearing the whiskey, that's fine. Drink it how you want to drink it. But if
Absolutely.
you're trying to still enjoy the whiskey, like if you want flavor with your whiskey, then maybe don't go, 6 parts Coke to 1 part whiskey. Maybe bring it down to, say,
That's what I do with KG.
Well, and you can do it with any whiskey
I do
you
2
want.
ounces and then a whole can of Coke.
Got to do something to make it drinkable.
It's palatable.
No, it's grain whiskey. That's why.
Yeah.
So
It's palatable.
if you get a chance, like I said, if you're out at a bar and there's any whiskey, whatever, you're like, hey, I kind of want to try that, or I want.
Cokes.
Oh yeah, and I just want to sit around and like hang out for a bit. Have them pour you a Crown and Coke, a whiskey, or a Jack and Coke, or a Rye and Coke, or Scotch and Coke, or Japanese and Coke. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, explore. Just
or
have fun
try
with
it with ginger ale. There's a lot of whiskeys that are great with it. Or
hands
ginger
down,
beer, or
you can take ginger ale and put it with
almost
any
anything.
whiskey.
Yeah,
Any whiskey works really great in it. It just makes a very unique,
it's
delicious
the Coke
drink.
of non-Coke sodas.
and it's a good, stomach settler because it's ginger ale, so it works good. It double purposes.
So, like I said, I haven't actually tried that mix before. That turned out really good.
Yeah, that's
I'd do
solid.
that again.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we've probably taken up enough of everyone's time today. So, thanks again for joining us. Click that like, click subscribe. Come check us out. Come hang out with us. We're here every Sunday, and we're here for you. So, if you've got ideas, throw them down in the comments. We want to hear from you. Hear what you want to see. In the meantime, between now and then, as always, here's to good friends, good times, and good whiskey.
Good whiskey.
Cheers.
Cheers guys.